Hey guys, so welcome back. In this video we'll be trying to solve the 16th Leetcode problem, that is 3 sum closest. So basically, given an array of nums of n integers and an integer target, find 3 integers in nums such that the sum is closest to the target. So basically you will be given a list, alright, and you will be given a target, that is 1 in this case. So you are supposed to find out which sum of 3 unique integers will give the sum closest to the target value. So in this case, -1 plus 2 plus 1 will give you 2 as the answer. So 2 is the closest sum to the target. Why is that? So let's take for example -1 plus 2 minus 4. So this will be giving you the answer as -3 or something. So that is much more farther from 1 than 2, right? So 2 is the closest sum to 1. So let's see how we can solve this. So this will be our array, alright? So the first thing we have to do is we have to sort the array. So once we sort the array, we'll be having something like -4, -1, 1 and 2, alright? Yeah. So now what do we have to do? We have to run a for loop. Before that, I'll be setting up a few variables. I'll be having a variable called L, which will be equal to 13,000. I will say why I took 13,000 in just a minute. Alright, okay. So the for loop will begin from -4, right? Then inside the for loop, we'll be having a while loop. Alright, because it is the sum of 3 numbers. If you guys have any doubt in this, please check my video like down below. I leave a link for the 2 sum problem, which is like very similar to this. So in the while loop, we'll be having a left pointer and a right pointer. So the left pointer will be at I plus 1, that is -1 in this case, and the right pointer will be at the last index, that is 2. Okay, so now we'll have a variable called summation. Alright, we'll have a variable called summation, which will be equal to the sum. So -4 -1 plus 2 will give you -3 as the answer, right? Yeah. We have to check if -3, not -3 actually, we are supposed to check if the absolute value of summation minus target is less than L or not. Okay, I will say why I'm doing this. So I forgot to mention target will be 1 in this case. So -3 -1 will give you -4 is -4 as the answer, right? So the absolute value of -4 is 4. So you're supposed to check if -4 is, if 4 is less than L or not, right? Because the absolute value of -4 is 4. And why we take the absolute value is like we just want the length between the 2 points, alright? So we take the absolute value. So 4 is of course less than 13,000. So what we'll do is we'll be putting L as equal to this absolute summation minus target, which will be 4. And we have a variable called answer. So answer we'll be putting as summation. Alright. Answer we'll be putting as summation. So now, okay, so now let's just put our variables down. Let's erase 13,000. I'll say why we took 13,000 again. So now L is equal to 4. Alright. And we have answer, which will be equal to summation. What was our summation again? -3 was our summation. Alright. Okay. So now we will erase all this. So now we have to check if -3 is less than or more than the target value. In this case, it is less than 1, right? So just like in toSum, we will move the left pointer towards the front, since this is a sorted array. Again, if you are having a doubt in anything I'm doing now, just go to my video of toSum and watch that first. I'll leave the link down below. So now left pointer will be at 1 and the right pointer will be at 2. So now the sum will be -4 plus 1 plus 2, which will give you -1 as the answer. We have to check again if the absolute value of summation minus target is less than L or not. What is the absolute value now? -1 minus 1 will give you -2 as the answer. So its absolute value is 2. Is 2 less than 4? Yes, 2 is less than 4. So what we'll do is we'll update the value of L. So now L will be equal to 2 and answer will be equal to summation. Now summation we got it as -1. So the answer will also be -1. Okay. Now what do we do? Now with the for loop we'll again move forward. Okay. So now the while loop breaks because the left and the right point cannot be the same. Alright. Okay. So now the for loop moves forward. When it moves forward, it will check if the previous element is same as a current element or not. So let's just say, for example, I'm just taking a small example over here. I had -1, -1, -1, -2. So if I checked this -1 with 1, 2 and -1, 2, I need not check the second -1 as well with 1 and 2, right? So basically what I mean by that is, if I like in the for loop, like if it begins with -1, if I check this -1, I mean the summation with 1 and 2 and with -1 and 2, I need not check it again with the second -1, right? Like that would be just a waste, like again checking -1 with 1 and 2. So what we do is, in this case, if the for loop will go forward, it will go to -1. When it will see that the previous element was also -1, it will skip this -1 and it will go forward to the next element. Alright? Okay. So let's, at least we got that thing out of the way. Let's rub this off. Okay. So now in this for loop, now it's -1. Again, we'll be having a while loop. So the left pointer will be at I plus 1, that is 1. And the right pointer will be at the last index, that is 2. We'll again check the sum. Now the sum in this case is gonna be, it is gonna be -1 plus 1 plus 2, which will give you 2 as the answer. Now again check the absolute value of summation minus target is less than L or not. So it will be 2 minus 1, that is 1. Is 1 less than 2? Yes, 1 is less than 2. L is basically the length, alright. So what I mean by length is, let's just assume this is a number line. We have 0 here and we have 1. So now we have absolute value of summation minus target. Okay, so we have -1 here and we have 2 here. So 2 is exactly 1 step away from 1, right? But as you can see here, we got the answer as -1. So -1 is 1, 2 steps away from 1. So 2 is more nearer to 1 than -1, right? So that's the entire idea of like using L and length over here, alright? So now 1 is less than length, we'll again update the value. L will be equal to the absolute value summation minus target, which will be 1. And answer will be equal to summation, that is 2. Alright? Okay. Now that's basically it. So now the for loop ends, because we'll make the for loop end in the third last element, because like in every while loop, like the left pointer and the right pointer will occupy the last 2 places, right? So we want the for loop to correctly end in the third last element. So yeah, that's basically it. So now this is your answer. We have to return answer, which is 2. So 2 is our answer because 2 occupies the lowest length, that is 1. So yeah, that is how you solve this problem. So let us just code this whole thing out. Okay, by the way, like I forgot to explain why we took the target. I mean, why we took L as 13,000 in the starting. So let's just assume the worst case scenario. If we take the constraints over here, we can see that the nums I, its minimum value is minus 1000 and the target's maximum value is 10,000, right? So target's maximum value is equal to 10,000 and the nums i's, which means like each element, it can be as low as minus 1000. All right. Okay. So yeah, why I took 13,000 is like just find the L value of the least and the most unluckiest case. So it will be the absolute value of target minus summation. So summation in like the worst case will be minus 1000 plus minus 1000 plus minus 1000, right? Which will give you the answer as minus 3000. Okay, so minus 3000 will be the answer. So summation will be equal to minus 3000. So what is the absolute value of target minus summation? So 10,000 minus 3000 will be equal to 13,000, right? So 13,000 is like the highest value L can have. So you have to always put the value of L as 13,000. But in Leetcode, like even if you put the value of L as 1000 or so, it still works because like in Leetcode, like they don't take like that much high of a number. But like if you are going for like a real interview or something and they give this as the constraints, make sure you like take the value of L as the most unluckiest and like the least favorable value. I mean basically the worst case scenario, that is 13,000. All right. So yeah, now let's code this whole thing out. Okay, so now let's see how we can solve this problem. So the first thing is I'll be sorting this. So nums dot sort, and I'll also be putting the variable L, which will be 13,000. All right. So now for I in range, len of nums minus 2, it should be range over here. Okay, len of nums minus 2 till the third last element. So now we have to check the previous element. So if I is more than 0 and nums I is equal to nums of I minus 1, I just want to continue the loop. Okay, because I don't want to go forward. So now let's set up the variables for the while loop. First will be equal to I plus 1. Last will be equal to the length of nums minus 1. And yeah, so while first is less than last, this is just basically 2 sum. I'll just put the value of summation. Summation will be equal to nums I plus nums first plus nums last. All right. So if the absolute value of summation minus target is less than L, I can just update the value of L as the absolute value of summation minus target, right? And then I can also put the variable called answer, which will be holding my sum for the future. So now this is like just basically 2 sum. If summation is less than target left plus equals 1, if summation is more than target, right minus equals 1, else. So what this means is if summation is equal to target, we basically found our answer. So we can just return summation, right? Okay. Let's just, okay. So yeah, that's basically it. Then after this, you can just return answer. And this should work. Let's run the code. Threesome closest. Oh, how did this get updated? I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened here. Let's see. Threesome closest. We will have nums and target as well. I think this got modified by mistake. Let's see if this works now. Global name target is not defined. I think it's a typo. Yes, it is. Target. Okay, it should work now. Okay, it's not left and right. It should be first and last. My bad. Okay. Let's see. There you go. It works. Let me submit the code. And there you go. This is one of the fastest solutions. It is 99% faster than all the other solutions. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any doubts, do leave them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer them. And that's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.